What's going on, everybody? So today I want to share with you my thoughts on an HPA Tapp MWS and if you should get one. So let's go ahead and check it out. So to start talking about this, I am using the black variable MWS HPA adapter, and this works with AEG magazines. So construction is kind of like a three-part construction here. I'm not the original owner of this. I'm borrowing this from a friend, but I do believe the way it came from the factory might have been missing this tail with the QD connector, and I believe the owner purchased this and then added this on to the unit. So I think you will need to adapt it to the specific air lines and rig that you are running. But just a quick overview here, what it looks like, and I could be wrong here, is that they machined off the bottom of a MWS mag, put in two basically pins, and added in this adapter with some silicone between here, and basically the air comes through the line, fills up into this air reservoir here in the magazine, and then works like your standard MWS magazine. So what kind of magazines does it work with? They recommend EPM1-s, and then that basically fits into here. So we should be able to get it in there. Sometimes it can get jammed up on the magazine catch. There was a little bit of finickiness with the magazine catch, and it needed to be shimmed because you could easily like overextend it, or I think actually it might have been depressed in too far where you couldn't get the magazine in. So just keep that in mind. Quality control is kind of so-so. But I do just want to talk mostly, maybe not specifically an evaluation of the black variable HPA adapter, but more as HPA. I mean, Tapp makes one of these as well, but more talk about the setup and whether or not this is something that you should consider doing. Taking a look at this specific example of the conversion, however, as you can see, I've got a regular MWS mag here. We'll compare this side by side, and you've got probably, I want to say 2.5 inches, average size extension coming off the bottom here. So, it's not so huge, but it's still noticeable. So we got the 30 grounder here, so just the regular EPM1, and I was using this a little bit. Now you got Big Chongus here, and he's gonna get in the way of everything that you want to do. That's why you don't want it this long. Again, above average size here, but just to give you an idea, you can have a lot of rounds on hand. So I'll just cut to a clip. But basically, that's more or less the setup I was running at that game pod day. So, putting the adapter aside, just running a regular quick release line. I believe this is 48 inches, and was running a Redline Airsoft Mini-SFR, and I believe we had set this to about 86 PSI. Well, actually, I could just screw this in really quick here. So it just screws onto this HPA HK Army tank. So we'll just turn this on really quick. And there you go. Actually 96 PSI, and that was hitting 375 feet per second on the nose. And that was the FPS limit for the day. So just keep that in mind if you are thinking of picking up one of these. The adjustment for the regulator is just at the top here, and it is SAE, so make sure you have a SAE Allen set if you're going to adjust this thing. Don't try to use metric, you kind of mess around with it, and there may not be an Allen key that actually fits this. So just keep that in mind. And then the tank we were running, this is an HK Army tank, and let's see, there it is. 48 cubic inches, 3000 PSI. I believe this got me through most of the day. Mag dumping calculation, I believe, came out to about 1400 rounds for this particular tank running in the MWS. So that's, you know, about 5 of these magazines. I want to say like 6 of these, roughly. You know, not exact science there. And then Old Faithful here, just my regular old MWS. It does have a Guns Modify nozzle in there. So it isn't the stock nozzle. The stock nozzle wore out after like 40,000 rounds, so had to replace that. But otherwise, mostly a stock gun, right? Stock bolt, stock buffer system, stock, you know, trigger box, you know, the regular stuff. So that's the setup. And let's talk a little bit about the actual gameplay. So as you can see, right, the idea of that day was to be able to still run my gas blowback gun, yet provide overwhelming suppressing fire and assist my team in moving from objective to objective. Something you just cannot do with the standard gas magazines. You'll run into cooldown, there's not enough capacity. Without maybe 3 guys, I'll show a clip here.
Go, go, go! Loading, loading, loading! Covering! Contact!
Ready?
I got you! Up, up, up! Good to go, good to go! Go, 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 go! Move, Greg, move! Go, go! Loading! Covering!
And as you can see, we're switching in and out to maintain fire superiority using just these little magazines, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of coordination. You may not find yourself in a situation where you can do that every time. In that instance, we got pretty lucky, and Tim, one of our teammates who was on the opposing team, knows what that feels like, and you know, he was not happy to be on the receiving end, but too bad, Tim, sorry. So overall, my impressions of an HPA tapped MWS are, hey, if you're running with a squad and you want to continue to, you know, go toe to toe with pretty much any AEG, and you're okay with messing around with the lines, this is it was surprisingly reliable for me. Obviously time will tell. Barely, you know, had 1 game day with this, so haven't had a lot of time running the system. One thing that I did run into very early on, but it resolved itself very quickly, so I'm not going to give it a demerit, is that the nozzle does need to be lubricated because you're running HPA and there's no basically oil in there like green gas would. So it dried out and it caused a bunch of funky issues with the guns and jams, but after I put lubrication in the nozzle, boom, gone. Everything was hunky-dory, was able to just continuously fire, empty out entire EPM magazines, and just knock it out of the park. So that was great to see. One thing I'm really not a fan of is this whole extension piece. I believe Black Variable has a V3 with an exchangeable bottom piece, so you can attach it to a drum, something of that nature. I believe Tapp Airsoft also has a drum. So my personal recommendation, don't get the type where it connects up with a you know, AEG magazine, you know, that magically reloads into your gun. We don't even know how it got in there. Can't show that on the YouTube. But what I would like to say is that, you know, this is very, very long, right? And you're looking at, you know, again, 2 inches above average size here. It's a lot of meat hanging off the bottom of the gun. You're better off with a drum magazine. So if you can get a drum variant of the HPA, you're okay with the lines, you're okay with the extra bulk, and you have somewhere to house this tank. It is a very, very fun time. So highly recommend it if you're antsy about getting into the gas blowback game, and you don't want to deal with the 35 round magazine limit. Highly recommend, you know, looking into an HPA Tapp, so that way you can still have that recoil, that good recoil impulse, have a lot of fun, you know, not listen to a whiny gearbox. You know, at this point, I can't even tolerate it anymore. So this was a great option, especially for big game days when you're allowed, and when you have a good group of guys behind you and you just want to support and bring down some BB showers onto the rentals. So that's it, short video for you guys. Just wanted to share my thoughts, and if you were curious what I was running that day, here it is in the flesh right in front of you. So appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, see you out there in the field.